Hey everybody, Hellcrex here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 211. Alright, today we're going to be talking about the Komodo. It's a 585. It's an interesting mech. It's carrying around one of those things that, well, I'm not a big fan of. That would be the XL engines. Well, to say the least, that's one of my least favorite things you're going to find on a mech. But, yeah, you can find other things that cause problems. Now, Komodo, being a 585, does have some speed for a 45-tonner. It could be faster, but then it wouldn't actually be able to do the role that it carries around. Its job, what it was designed for. Now, with that 585 XL engines, you have 14 double heat sinks. All right, there's some good stuff there. And it carries around 120 points of armor. All right. So it's got some armor on board. It can't handle a Gauss round or a Clan PPC by any chance, but not very many 45-tonners can. Now, the weapons loadout is interesting. It carries around a tag in the head, which, can be used for artillery. And then we have in the right arm, we have an anti-missile system with a ton of ammo and 5 medium lasers. Then in the left arm, we have dual. We have a anti-missile system with a ton of ammo and 5 medium lasers. All right. In right torso, we have a Guardian ECM. And then in the left and right leg, we have 2 jump jets and a jump jet in the center torso. Now, the whole purpose of this mech, it's carrying around 10 standard medium lasers. With those medium lasers, you're going to find that, you're going to do some good damage with that if you hit with everything. And its primary job is to go out there and hammer. Speaking of hammer, my walls are getting hammered on, getting housework done at the moment. And they were quiet for them. I decided to make a video, but now they're hammering again. So we'll just deal with it. So, this is a mech that's designed to hunt elementals. Now, it sort of has the same kind of job description as a hunchback, like a swayback, but this one will run in, find a point of elementals, and just hammer away with all the medium lasers for a turn and run away. It's designed to do a drive-by. So you do a drive-by on the enemy elementals, and then come back again after you cool off a little bit and do another one. And hope that you can almost kill off a point of elementals with this, or do some major damage killing a bunch of them. Now, the whole purpose of the 2 anti-missile systems is obviously if you're the closest target, you're going to be collecting a lot of attention from those elementals, because most of the time they're carrying around those SRM2s. They got 2 shots with those things. But you're going to be getting those missiles coming at you. You're going to stop, while you're doing your drive-by, the missiles will be coming at you. The anti-missile system will knock a bunch of them down. And then you're going to drive away and rinse and repeat. And, that's the best way I find to use the Komodo. I've used the Komodo before, and that's how basically it works really good for. Now, if you don't have a circumstance where you're facing off against elementals, hopefully you're using this in a city environment where you are sitting around with short range weapons. You can come around the corner of a city block, unload with all your medium lasers, and then maybe jump away and cool off. And that way you're not going to be it's like hit and run tactics. You don't have any long range. 9 hexes is the longest range weapon system you have on this version. So that's pretty much how I ever use this thing. I use it the same way I always use this, like a sway back. You know, it's like run in, do some damage. Now the sway back, on the other hand, has a little more armor and a little bit heavier mech, so it's able to hang in there because it's a slow moving mech, and it's forced to go in there, do all of its damage, and hopefully survive long enough with its buddies. Now, if you have a lance of these things, you can dish out a lot of damage really quick. You can tear off like a heavy mech's armor completely off and nothing flat. So let's say you have a 60% hit ratio, that's, let's say, 6 out of 10. You know, you're doing about 30 points of damage. And if you have 4 of these mechs, you know, you're doing about 120 points of damage. You basically knocked off about half the armor on a heavy mech, or even more. That's if you're not rolling the standard 6, 7s, and 8s, so you're getting right into the torsos. And typically, my experience is a couple swaybacks, even similar style, and what I've used these for is like you have the other mechs out front, and you run this thing in and just start tearing armor off mechs and doing a lot of damage to them. So that's pretty much how I use this mech. Now, there are a few variants on this one. There's the 2A. Now, the 2A, what it does is it takes 5 of the medium lasers and replaces it with a ER large laser. So you still have the tag and the 2 anti-missile systems and 5 medium lasers. That version runs a little cooler unless you're using the jump jets. But you have a weapon system that shoots out to 19, so you have some way of doing damage on something as you're closing in. And this version's a little more versatile than the standard Komodo when it comes to being out more of an open battlefield, because then you're able to strike out at distance, and you're using it more like a hit and run type, flanker type mech versus just your ambush style mech what you have with the Komodo standard. But I've used both, and both work really good depending on the type of environment. Now, if you're stuck in more of an open terrain, you're going to have to use more cover and concealment as you're trying to get the Komodo to move up. And you get individuals that know what a Komodo does, they're going to tear that thing apart before it ever gets you. It's the same thing as like, oh, you're running a hunchback, huh? It's the same problem as if you're running a hunchback and they see the hunchback rolling up, they're going to rip it to pieces before it ever gets to you, because if they can kill a mech before it even fires, that's, you know, a lot better for your team. That's pretty much what's going to happen to you, unless you can use cover and concealment and get up there before you can start dishing out the payload. Then we got the 2C version. Now this one removes the tag and replaces it with a C3 system, you know, a slave. All right. So basically you take the standard version, and instead of tag, you got a C3. Hey, if you can get this mech up close, or you got a lance of these guys, one of them happens to get close, and there's somebody, one of the other versions, or a mech in there's got the slave system, or 3 slaves, and you got a master control, then obviously you can do some good damage with that. So it's more of a, I find it more useful. This version seems to be more of an eyes and ears style design, where you got the slave and you're going to go out there and have everybody else is going to be possibly using you or one of your other lance mates as the eyes and ears, trying to go after those elementals if you have to worry about those things. Now, then we got the 3C. Now this one's kind of interesting. This one is a command and control version. It drops 2 double heat sinks, 2 medium lasers, and the tag for a C3 Master. All right, this came out in 3064, same time as the 2C version. So now you could have the command and control version of this mech in one of the, so you could run a whole lance of these guys. So you may have a 3C version with the command and control. You may have running around with 2C versions with they replace the tag for the C3 slave, which obviously that can be used the same way. And you know, so it's redundancy why you would have one versus the other. So you might as well just automatically replace it. So then you can run around and just start hammering targets right and left. Now, it's possible where you could replace the 2A, where you have one of them with have a 2A that replaces its tag for a C3 slave, and you have at least one of those mechs is going to be able to shoot out farther. So if you run across a basically a star of elementals, a lance of these guys could probably make pretty short work of them. You know, just come up there and just rip them to pieces. Yeah, they may get hurt some in the process of trying to take those guys out, but you're going to be doing a lot of damage to them by the time it's said and done. All right. So overall, the Komodo isn't a bad mech if you put it into the niche it belongs. Now, when you start throwing it into outside its comfort zone, like going up toe to toe with other mechs, large mechs, and you know, better designed medium mechs, that XL engine is going to start being a detriment to your lance mates. You know, that's been my experience, because it, you know, it's like, okay, it's got XL engines, not as much armor as it should. You're going to be finding yourself being focused down on, because hey, that's a short range mech. If you get that thing out in the open, they're going to tear it to pieces. So there is some drawbacks with it. So if you get this thing into a city fight, or you're going against a lot of elementals, infantry style, hey, bring it in there, start killing elementals. That's what it was designed for. So if you get it outside this niche, it's going to have problems. But if you're in your comfort zone where it belongs and what it's designed for, it can excel. And it's been my experience. So watch what you do with it. It's a good mech for what it's designed to do. All right. Hope you guys like this one. Like and subscribe, share it with friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Hell Craig's out.